They nearly got it. Tracy looks to the outside.
One sip of an unassuming tonic in a bustling Thai cafe gave Dietrich Mateschitz a vision that would reshape an industry, fuel adventure, and give wings to millions worldwide. Trapped in a monotonous corporate life at Unilever, endless flights, sterile boardrooms, grey suits, Mateschitz, a then rising star, felt deeply dissatisfied. The corporate world offered security, but not freedom or joy. Then, far from the drab routine of the West, in a lively Thai cafe filled with the hum of motorcycle engines and street food aromas, Mateschitz took a sip of a local tonic. A rush of energy and instant clarity jolted his existence. What if this is the key, he wondered. The simple tonic sparked a vision to create a brand that would redefine an entire industry and give wings to millions. But this isn't just a story about a drink. It's about a man who, driven by an unyielding desire for independence, left the corporate world, bet his life savings on an idea no one believed in, and created something that defied logic and expectations. This is the story of Dietrich Mateschitz, the man who didn't just give the world a Red Bull, he gave the world wings. In 1982, Mateschitz was a marketing director for Unilever, traveling the world promoting products that bored the living hell out of him. Each day felt stagnant, exactly the carbon copy of the day before. Then, at the age of 38, he faced another 20 years in an unfulfilling career. But on a routine business trip to Thailand, jet-lagged and burnt out, he stumbled upon a small cafe. The air was thick with street food scents and motorcycles buzzed outside, a stark contrast to the European boardrooms he was used to working in. Curious, he noticed locals drinking an uncarbonated tonic called Catering Dang, meaning Red Bull in Thai. They claimed it was a miracle for energy. Skeptical, but also tired, Mateschitz decided to try it. The effect was almost instant. Vitality surged through him, replacing exhaustion with clarity and strength. This tonic could be the answer for his quest for something more meaningful. Days later, at the Mandarin Hotel in Hong Kong, an article caught his eye. The highest taxpayer in Japan was the maker of energy tonics. The opportunity was clear as daylight. Red Bull could fill a growing market gap in the West's obsession with personal performance. Determined to transform this tonic, Mateschitz sought a meeting with Shalio Yuridia, the Thai businessman behind Catering Dang. Their passionate discussions led to a deal. Each of them would invest $500,000 to create a carbonated version for the Western markets, with Mateschitz taking 49% and Yuridia holding 49% and the remaining for his son. The vision was bold. Red Bull would not just be a drink, it would create a new category altogether. Leaving Unilever was no easy decision. At the age of 41, Mateschitz was at the pinnacle of his career, with a secure future and the respect of his peers. Yet, every day felt like a betrayal to his true self. The corporate grind drained his spirit, leaving him yearning for something more meaningful. Friends and colleagues thought he was making a grave mistake. Are you really walking away from everything for a drink? For something people in Europe don't even know they want, they asked. The doubt from others echoed in his own mind. He had a family to support, a reputation to maintain, and a comfortable life. Why throw it all away? Nights were sleepless as Mateschitz grappled with his decision. Could an unproven drink from Thailand really transform the West? Was he risking too much for an uncertain future? Yet, amidst this uncertainty, the desire for freedom and control over his own life prevailed. I couldn't see myself stuck in that grey world for another decade, he later confessed. I wanted freedom. I wanted control over my own life. Driven by his inner callings, he made the courage to quit his high-paying job. He bet everything on a tonic from Thailand and a vision that the West was ready for something new, even if they didn't just know it yet. From the outset, Mateschitz knew Red Bull had to stand apart. Introducing an energy drink wasn't enough. He had to build a myth around it. The decision to sell Red Bull as an ultra-premium product at $2 a can was bold. In a world where sodas cost cents, Mateschitz positioned Red Bull as something entirely new and luxurious. If he priced Red Bull with just a 15% premium, we would have been just another soda company, he said. But Red Bull was never meant to be a part of the soft drink market. It was meant to create a category of its own. But price alone wouldn't set Red Bull apart. It was a brand's identity that needed to shine, and visioned Red Bull as more than just a drink. It had to be a lifestyle. It had to be a movement. To achieve this, he built the brand around extreme sports and adventure, sponsoring events and athletes who lived on the edge, from snowboarders to cliff divers to space jumpers. Red Bull wasn't selling an energy drink, it was selling adrenaline. Early campaigns focused on the thrill and excitement of extreme sports, creating an aspirational image that resonated with the niche audience initially, but soon this vision expanded globally. As Red Bull gained traction, so did the rumors. People started asking, what's really in this stuff? Stories circulated that taurine, one of Red Bull's key ingredients, was derived from bull testicles. In countries across Europe, the drink was banned outright due to health concerns. For most companies, this would have been a disaster, but Mateschitz saw this as an opportunity. He embraced rumors instead of fighting them off. Indifference kills brands, and controversy fuels them, Mateschitz would say with a knowing grin. He knew that as long as people were talking about Red Bull, whether the rumors were good or bad, the brand remained alive and thriving. In Europe, Red Bull's growing popularity led to several countries banning the drink outright. In Germany, where the drink was prohibited, the black market soon flourished, with people smuggling cans from Austria to sell it at premium prices. Red Bull's forbidden status made it more enticing, turning a drink into a symbol of rebellion, a beverage for those who did not want to follow the rules. In 1991, the tension was palpable. Minutes felt like hours. The silence in the room was deafening. Mateschitz stared at his phone, knowing that everything he had worked for was on the line. Would Germany finally approve Red Bull, or would the delay stretch into oblivion? His nerves were frayed, his stomach in knots. Years of efforts, millions of dollars, and countless sleepless nights all rested on this one decision. And finally, the phone rang. Approval granted. Mateschitz let out a breath he didn't know he had been holding for so long. Germany, one of the most critical markets in Europe, had opened its doors to Red Bull. Within 3 months, the drink exploded. 33 million cans sold, and this was just the beginning. Red Bull was no longer a risky experiment. It was now becoming a global phenomenon. Throughout Red Bull's rise, Mateschitz remained a perfectionist, always refining the brand's messaging. Kastner, a close friend and the founder of an ad agency, Kastner & Partners, had been working on slogans for nearly a year, growing increasingly frustrated by Mateschitz' rejections. Nothing's good enough for him, Kastner would mutter after yet another failed pitch, but he understood his friend's relentless pursuit for perfection. One night, during a late brainstorming session, Kastner had a breakthrough. Kastner called up Mateschitz to discuss a new slogan, Red Bull gives you wings. There was a long pause before Mateschitz responded, and that's it, we've got it. After more than a year of rejecting every suggestion, the perfect slogan had finally arrived. In that moment, the brand's identity had crystallized. It wasn't just a drink anymore, it was a promise of power, freedom, and transformation. The ad campaigns that followed reflected Red Bull's rebellious spirit. They were self-ironic, non-conformist, smart, and rebellious, just like Mateschitz himself in real life. The brand became as much about the attitude as it was about the product. While many companies merely sponsor sports events, Red Bull's approach was revolutionary. Mateschitz didn't just want to slap his logo on a Formula One car. He wanted to own the team. He didn't just want to sponsor a sports club. He wanted the team to be called Red Bull. From Formula One to football to air races, Red Bull's involvement in sports was total and immersive. The company didn't just sponsor athletes, it created entire events such as Red Bull Air Racing, attracting global attention and giving the brand a presence far beyond traditional advertising. This was Mateschitz' larger vision of Red Bull as a marketing conglomerate, with every activity from sports to media served to reinforce the core brand. One of the first major initiatives was the acquisition of a Formula One team. Red Bull took full ownership, allowing complete control over the team's image and strategy. The move not only elevated the brand's status in the motorsport world, but also showcased Red Bull's commitment to excellence and innovation. Similarly, in In football, Red Bull purchased and rebranded teams, integrating them seamlessly into the brand's identity. These teams became breeding grounds for young talent and platforms for showcasing Red Bull's values of speed, agility, and relentless pursuit of success. By owning the game, Red Bull blurred the lines between brand and experience, creating a lifestyle that fans could only embody and aspire. This holistic approach ensured Red Bull wasn't just a product, it was a cultural phenomenon. For all its public impact, Mateschitz remained an intensely private man. Despite his immense wealth and the global presence of Red Bull, he shunned the limelight, rarely appearing in interviews or public events. His life was a paradox. He was the driving force behind one of the most public-facing brands in the world, yet he valued his privacy above everything else. He even purchased a society magazine in Austria, not to be featured in it, but to keep himself out. "It's not me on the shelf, it's Red Bull," he would say. While the brand became a cultural icon, Mateschitz stayed in the shadows, orchestrating everything but rarely stepping into the spotlight. Even in his personal life, Mateschitz refused to follow convention. He never married, preferring to keep his independence. He stayed fit and active well into his later years, racing motorcycles, skiing, and piloting his planes. For him, life wasn't just about status or wealth. It was about freedom, fun, and staying true to oneself. His leadership styles were similarly unconventional. Mateschitz believed in empowering his teams, fostering an environment where creativity and innovation thrived. He led by example, demonstrating that success could be achieved without compromising personal values or sacrificing one's individuality. As the years passed, Red Bull became more than just a brand, it became a cultural icon. But through it all, Mateschitz remained true to the principles that had guided him from the very beginning. He never took Red Bull public, never caved into the pressures of corporate shareholders, and never compromised on his vision. For Mateschitz, Red Bull wasn't just a business, it was a way of life. Even as he grew older, his energy never waned. He worked on Red Bull until his very final days, still driven by the same joy and excitement that fueled him from the very beginning. He had created an empire, but more importantly, he had lived a life on his own terms. In the end, Dietrich Mateschitz didn't just give the world wings, he showed us how to fly.